It started like most stories involving Karen do, with a complaint letter, then a threat, then the noise of hired equipment coming down the street with no warning. Karen Mitchell, self-appointed neighborhood integrity officer of our private subdivision, had long considered herself the final say on what was acceptable within our quiet gated community. Her latest target? My property, Lot 19B. A parcel that had, to her, sat empty too long, with unregistered use, and, her favorite phrase, aesthetically disruptive fencing. What she didn't know, what she never even thought to ask, was that the nondescript lot she was eyeing for demolition wasn't some abandoned corner of the neighborhood. It was a federal holding site, wired with layered security, operated under covert authorization, and used as a rotating base of operations for a sensitive field unit. She saw a privacy fence. What she didn't see were the underground fiber optics, biometric access panels, or the two agents on 48-hour rotation monitoring from inside a bunker 5 feet beneath the surface. I was away that day, on official work in D.C., when I got the first alert on my phone. It wasn't from a neighbor or a call from Karen. It was a priority breach signal. Someone had bypassed the fence's proximity zone, not just breached the perimeter, but sent a vibration spike down into the lower structure. That only happens when there's tampering with the soil, or in this case, a bulldozer treading into restricted space. The cameras kicked in, sending me a live feed. There she was, Karen, standing with a local contractor, arms folded, pointing to a spot on the ground like she was giving directions for a flower bed install. Except what she was ordering was the flattening of a security-grade outpost. I placed one call, just one. 23 minutes later, while Karen was busy berating a hesitant operator for being too gentle with the push, two unmarked SUVs rolled into the cul-de-sac. She barely turned around before they parked. 4 agents stepped out, calm, professional, not a word raised. They didn't need to. One of them presented credentials, the kind with black seals and no agency name printed in plain sight. "Ma'am," he said, "this is a restricted site under federal protection. You're in violation of Title 18, U.S. Code Section 1386, entry onto military, naval, or Coast Guard property. Step back immediately." Karen didn't. She launched into one of her tirades, complete with phrases like, "I'm a taxpayer," and "you can't stop an HOA order." By the time she finished, she was in cuffs. They didn't arrest her in a loud or theatrical way. They detained her for questioning, drove her off calmly, and left the bulldozer operator frozen in place. He wisely reversed his machine out of the lot and waited for clearance to leave. An hour later, I arrived on site. "Operation Lynx is active," one of my team members told me quietly. "We went dark for the last 12 months, but that breach triggered everything." It turned out Karen had done something none of us could have planned for. She'd triggered a dormant protocol we'd embedded when the facility was first installed, an emergency asset integrity test, codenamed Operation Lynx, designed to detect hostile interference under the guise of civilian disturbance. We had no idea it would be an HOA president who would set it off. The incident went straight to the Office of Homeland Property Security and the Inspector General. Karen was interviewed for hours. Released, yes, but not without repercussions. She signed an NDA thicker than her HOA handbook. The subdivision was issued a quiet but binding letter from federal counsel, instructing the board to eliminate all further interference with Lot 19B. Karen resigned from the board 3 days later. She blamed health reasons. We knew better. No one in the neighborhood talks about Lot 19B anymore. The fence is still up, same neutral color. But now there's an extra layer of landscaping, bushes that look natural but mask the new sensor grid we added after the breach. And Karen? She walks her dog past my lot but never stops, never glances. She knows now. The quietest homes are sometimes the most protected. And some fences don't mark the edge of a lawn. They mark the edge of a classified perimeter.